got up and was like, y'all look nasty. Y'all ain't
Right, but then she said, this is a whole hand.
Burn.
Enterprises.
Thank you for coming to our channel. You could have been anywhere else, but you're here with me. Back with a new, series review.
Yes.
Today we're going to be reviewing
Atlanta.
And
Season 3.
Season 3. Before we begin, introduce our regular, Miss Nakia.
Hi.
All right, so, man, this show is super deep, so I don't know where to start. So, where you want to start?
Let's start episode 1.
Yep, let's start episode 1.
Episode 1, 3 slaps.
Yes.
Okay, so,
based on a true story?
Yes, it is based on a true story.
This is a strong entrance to the series.
Yes, it is.
It is. And I actually meant to tell you this before. Me and Nakia got to talk about the very, very beginning because I actually forgot. The guy that basically was at episode 10 with his family. Mm-hmm. He was the guy that was in the boat talking to the black guy that was talking about how it's haunted and how
all the people were down. Yeah.
Yes, and
he brought up a really good point about because he was a redneck.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they get the stigma,
mm-hmm.
Being kind of like the lower class of white people.
True.
And he was kind of like saying that white wasn't really a color or a race. It was more of like social,
mm-hmm.
and anybody could be white.
Right.
Depending on how much money you have or how much blood you shed and stuff like that.
Right.
And he was kind of just saying, they use that as a way to separate
mm-hmm.
white people and black people because
exactly.
even those lower class white people felt like they were still better than black people, even though socially that black person could have been doing better, financially that black person could have been doing better, but due to the color of their skin, they use that as a platform to say I'm better than you,
Gotcha.
Or feel superior to black people when really they're the same.
Right.
So
I'm not black. I'm OJ. Essentially, is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But yeah. So this episode ends up going over or showcasing a real situation that happened.
It was in the news story about
2018.
Yeah, 2018. The Caucasian Hart family couple.
Yeah, that's right.
Two female couple ended up adopting all these children and basically killing them. So
right, and driving
after multiple police reports.
Yes.
Multiple police reports
people reported on there, and even at one point,
two of them were founded.
Right.
So they were like true. They were like investigated and found to be true.
Yeah.
And one of the kids end up
escaping.
like trying to that part that I was telling you about when the guy or the boy had the hat on and he's reaching out.
That's when it became famous.
And
that protest
and hugging the police like that.
That was a Ferguson protest, I believe.
Yeah, I think
his body was
Ferguson.
never found. It was not found in the car with the other children or near the scene. He's still not found.
Yeah.
Right. So just kudos to Atlanta for just
bringing light,
right?
Yeah,
just bringing it awareness just from the jump with something that that's taking place, and that a lot of people didn't know about. I don't know if I knew everything. Like I knew kind of some stuff, but this was almost like a reminder for me to do more research and even to find out about this situation. So
right,
I think they set the tone with the verse the interlude of the show with them having that conversation,
right.
And then going through this entire scenario, playing out a real life scenario of kind of how they were going to dive into race and stuff like
this
that.
season.
Yeah,
and I think that's another thing they did is like every episode is talking about some kind of real life situation. Like the episode 2, we didn't know about that and like the things going on.
I knew about it.
Did you?
Yeah.
In Amsterdam and stuff?
Yeah,
wow.
I don't know how I heard about
which
it.
one?
I think it probably do because of the type of channels, that the Center Clause
Center
and
Clause,
and Black Pete. And I had heard about it from probably one of the YouTubers that I watched. I'm trying to remember which one. I don't know, but that's how I heard about it. And basically, that's what episode 2 is. If you don't know about that, there's this festival type thing that they have, overseas where
Centered around Christmas.
It's centered around Christmas and Santa Claus, and Santa Claus or Santa Claus's helper is called Black Pete, and I guess his face, is black because he came down the chimney or whatever. But they use this as a big festival, and everybody has black face, and so a lot of people have been over the years as this, more awareness have been brought to it by like different people in shows like Atlanta. People have been trying to get it canceled, and of course, what a lot of people do when white people, when they get called out on stuff, they'll be like, "Oh, it's not racist," just like they do with the rebel flag, the same thing. Like, "Oh no, this is tradition, and this is what it stands for."
But it's background.
And I could maybe get down with, or understand where they was coming from, but the fact that y'all have the black faces and the red lips, and everybody knows from a history, like what I'm saying, from the minstrel shows and even going way back when to where black people really weren't allowed to be in movies and shows, and they would have white people play black people, and a lot of times they would have the black face and have the red lips to make fun of, because black people have bigger lips, and to make fun of us. And when they did that, they always played us as someone that was ignorant, or somebody that was dumb, or somebody that was in there strictly for comedy relief.
That's it.
And so, again, episode 2, again, pointing out a real situation, and how, when Aaron and Paper Boi, when they seen that situation, it was like, I'm not gonna perform to them.
Right.
The whole crowd full of black faces or whatever. Like, I'm not
performing.
Right. No, trash. Okay, so we can go to episode 3, the old man in the tree.
Yeah, they basically played Paper Boi.
They did.
Yeah. And then they also talked about how allies can sometimes do the most. When the girl, she was having a conversation with, what's his name? Darius. And he was telling the guys about what she said, and they was like, "Oh, she's racist," and they like circled her and like beat her up.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
They did the most, but like people walking around in blackface.
It's like it's okay. Right, yeah, right.
And he wasn't even that mad about it.
It's almost like they're trying
outraged.
Right, it's almost like they're trying to prove that they're not racist.
Like, I'm your ally. I stand with you.
Which I feel like is real. Like sometimes like they take the smaller stuff and then make this big deal, like we would never stand for that.
Right.
And but then like there's also bigger things that are happening, and it's just a bunch of excuses.
Exactly.
Right.
So
like, oh, he didn't stop, he didn't comply.
Right. I think another thing is that I pointed out was the white privilege, and how they know that there are a lot of situations that they know that they owe us money, or they what have you, but rather than going ahead and paying us the money that they owe us, they pretend like
nothing ever happened.
And I guess a good analogy of that is that's what's going on with college football right now. If you're familiar with that, now it's getting to the point where basically beforehand you could never legally make money off of your image, off of your own image if you were in college football.
Yeah.
Now they're getting to the point where they can do that now, and all the white college coaches are having a fit. Shout out to Alabama's coach. He's trash because he tried to throw Deion Sanders under the bus because of that, and Deion wasn't even in the conversation. But I think a lot of them are fussing because they don't want to pay black people. You know what I'm saying? Just like in that situation, but Paper Boi, he won fair and square in the game. Give me my money. Pay me what you owe me. But rather you pay me, he wanted to go somewhere and hide.
And
I'm like, okay, maybe if I just go to sleep and ignore it, they'll eventually stop. You know what I'm saying? They'll eventually quit doing it or whatever. But we got to do like Paper Boi doing, and saw down a tree,
stuff, right?
And also demand our stuff and get out.
Give it to me, I
take it.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. So episode 4, the big payback. This is a dope episode.
That was a nice episode.
Which overall was talking about reparations.
She came knocking on the door.
That was I think it was a good visual for a lot of conversations around that. Like, it's easy to have that type of conversation of like, and I feel like a lot of, I think about that when sometimes white people can kind of just be like a let it go situation.
Yeah.
Like, you need to let it
The past
go.
is the past.
But it's like, but if it was reversed, how would you be in that scenario?
Exactly.
And this was a visual for that that whole conversation.
Yeah, we're still in debt and all of that because of what happened in the past.
And how do you like live?
Yeah.
How do you continue living?
Right.
Right, and I think the biggest part in how they were able to allow another white character explain, the idea behind reparations to another white character, and him basically saying, well, my grandfather told my dad that, he had worked himself from the bootstraps, he did everything himself, and that wasn't necessarily the case. He had a lot of help, a whole lot of help, and in addition to him having a whole lot of help, he also had a whole lot of kids, which to me was saying that they were also doing things with, with the help.
Yeah,
basically.
absolutely.
And so when you look at it from that perspective and look at it like, okay, well, how you got to where you are, we did that. You know what I'm saying? We built this country based on the sweat off our backs, and for them to pretend like it's just some mythical thing that's not really real, and unless we actually go to investigate it. No, this is a real situation.
Yeah.
And I like the practicality of it too. How they did it. Well, basically, it comes out of people's checks. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the situation works. Because I think the biggest, if we're going to get into the political world, I think they often try to figure out, okay, but how would it work? They try to act like it's just be the most, like it'll be super hard, right? It'll be unheard of to try to figure out how it will work. But Atlanta, to me, figured it out like it could be done. It could be done really simple. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so then cancer attack. What happened in this episode?
So this is when they had the little fan. The little boy was the super fan of Paper Boi.
Yeah.
The Paper Boi lost his phone.
And the guy. Yeah, this was the confusing episode because I'm not sure what exactly this episode was trying to say.
Right.
Because they was doing a good cop, bad cop on your boy that they thought stole the phone. But the whole time, the other white dude that had kind of got into their camp.
The ally.
Right.
That's the same one that got the girl beat up.
Was it him?
Was that him?
Are you sure?
With the long hair,
I have to double check that.
He's the one that was like, I'm riding with you. He been with him
that's
since
who
that
it be.
episode.
Oh,
Be
okay.
young people.
Right, so maybe that is what they want to say, that the people that we think are allies, a lot of times they don't be having our best interest at hand. But some people probably could use the analogy to the Democrats.
I mean, some people truly live by like, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer.
That is true. That is true. Okay, so the white fashion episode 6.
This was
also
so
based
much
on some very real things.
It reminded me of Tommy Hilfiger so much because we rep up Tommy Hilfiger, Gucci. They've been in the paper for that too. Like they're super
Gucci.
racist.
Also, what was the place? Also,
that's a lot of your clientele.
What's the name of the other place?
Not Prada.
Not Prada. But it was all of them though. I think it was Prada and Gucci.
I know I just remember Gucci. For a fact.
Yeah, that they was trying to do this fashion stuff that was.
Day.
Well, I don't know about. I remember Tommy, but I guess it was rumors as far as him supposed to be in racist.
Yeah, I only heard about Tommy.
H&M, that's what it was.
Yes,
So that's what it was. So
and
H&M and the imagery that they was using, I remember that situation, and they had all these different kids in the advertising, but then they have the black child on there, and the black child
looks the monkey shirt
looks
on.
all that's what it was. They had to have.
I remember that.
Yeah. And that, I feel like it was something else they did too.
Yeah, with the hair.
That was them too. Yeah, like they had all the little kids.
It wasn't combed up.
At all. Like they had all the kids looking all cute and stuff, but then they have the black child and they looking, not as well in comparison to the other white kids.
Right.
And the same thing with Gucci and Prada. They had these different purses and different things that were definitely racist or whatever, and then they come out with these, like I would like to say, fake ass apologies and say, like all these companies do. Anytime they offend us or we step up and say something, or Black Twitter goes off and we pretty much say
cancel.
Right.
They're not wearing their stuff anymore.
And then they come out with these fake apologies and say, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do training and stuff, like even Starbucks did the same thing when this situation happened. We're gonna have racial sensitivity training, and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. And I feel like this was an example of what it is. I feel like it's, at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of BS.
Right.
Like y'all not really.
They made a shirt that says Central Park 5 on the back of it, and had her laying in the grass at the park with 5
with black people.
What are you
right.
doing? What is that?
Right. And the whole thing was that I believe I could have my facts incorrect, but didn't the white chick you know, said that that she was hard by the black
Absolutely.
people, whatever. So that was the main thing.
She's hard by the guys, by the black guys that didn't do it.
Right, and so she told them that she was hard by them, and so either she did or either they just assumed,
they interrogated the kids enough to get them to do a fake confession.
I was gonna say, didn't she come back and she was like, that wasn't them?
I think she did.
She
but
said
I
it was
think
like one person or something like that.
Yeah.
And 5 people went down for it.
Yeah, but overall, these companies be on some old BS. But it also, I guess, presents the argument of how do you play the game in order to get ahead, or do you just say F it? Because I feel like the people that were in there that was already like the guy that was like he's used to this. This is just what he does.
I'm gonna use this situation for what I can get out of it and leave them alone. Let them do them.
Right. You kind of just play the game like you know that they on some BS, but you know that you can still get money out of them, and then therefore, you know, have your own nonprofit organization and still be able to get money to the things that you deem to be important.
Right. That's true.
And some people will be like, well, you're selling out doing that. You know what I'm saying? So
I think it's definitely how a lot of people was raised. Like when he started talking about that, I wouldn't even have thought about that.
No.
Like I wouldn't even have thought about playing nobody's game. And like immediately I want to check stuff. I'm like, Paper Boi, I want to check it right then.
Right.
And some people are very business minded and they think further ahead into things like that, and how they can gain and then support that community that's being turned away from.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know. It's just how people think. If you can think that far, shout out to you. I personally cannot think that far. So.
Right. So then we have Trinity to the Bone.
Trinity to the Bone. That was a good
gosh,
episode.
That was so funny. I love that episode so much.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I don't know I don't know how they taught that little boy the accent and all that stuff.
Because he had the lady.
The
lady taught him.
Well, I mean like the actor, like the actual little boy. I don't know if he's actually from Trinidad or what, but him speaking that.
Like you,
I was
you
like,
kind of
oh my
believe
God.
that he actually has been around someone
Yes,
that raised him.
it was like just
I
flowing.
got
I was
that.
like,
I got that as well. Like
that episode.
He did that. That little boy did an excellent job.
He did.
Yeah. So, what was something that you said that I didn't even really think about?
So basically, they talk about how white families hire black women, black nannies, we've been doing this since slavery, taking care of white children, and how the children are so attached to us. Like he wanted to go to her funeral. Like I need to go to this lady's funeral. This lady does this to me, and the parents don't even know their own kid because they call them mammies, which may be derogatory back in the day. But they raised the kid, so they know the kid more than the parent knows the kid.
And so much so, you were saying how she wasn't able to raise her own kids.
Yeah,
to be
she
there
did.
for her
Yeah,
own
so
kids.
that was
one
a
of
big
her
at the
daughters
funeral.
was like
upset
because she's like, you've raised all these Caucasian children, but what about your own children in your own house? You know, you've given these kids love, but I mean, it's the double-edged sword of okay, but I want these kids to be better than their parents. So,
and I'm making the money to support my family,
and I'm teaching them a different way.
Right,
you know,
right.
So,
but I mean, you can see in his face, like the first thing that I noticed is like he never smiled. He never smiled with his parents. He never smiled until they got to her family's house and that lady started talking to him. And he was like so like his eyes just like he lit up and he was so happy. Like that's legit where he felt like home was. Like, and I mean that shows a lot, you know. And I hate that when by the time they get older, going back into slavery time, by the time they get older, then they are then taught racism, which you know is racism taught. Are you born into that? I don't know, because you're being raised by these black women and you do love people that raise you and care for you and stuff like that, but then you're kind of taught not to like them.
Right.
But I also liked how the parents like took him to the funeral.
Yes.
Like, you know, it was like, we know she was a huge part of your life, so we're gonna let you say your goodbyes. We're gonna let you know what happened to her and all of that. We're not just gonna like sweep it under the rug and hire somebody else and act like nothing ever happened.
Right.
So I did.
Well, the mom was trying to do that.
Yeah, the mom was
like, we're just gonna hire a nanny and we're just gonna move on.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I cannot remember what was in that bag. that kept being delivered.
Yeah,
it
it was
pictures
It was
of
pictures
him
of
and her.
Pictures. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she took those family pictures
Right.
with the son.
But it's
Yeah.
who sent the pictures though?
That's
Wherever
the
they
funny.
coming from.
I think
That's
it came
the
from
thing.
her, from the ancestor.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
Yes, it's like y'all gonna get these
I was
pictures.
thinking, I was like,
she
this
kept
some
on
hoodoo
bringing
going
back.
on?
Yeah, she's like,
Right.
y'all gonna get these pictures. Show our bond.
that's my child.
That's it.
That's not your
your
child.
child.
That's my
That's
child.
my baby.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
then,
true.
so then episode 8, New Jazz. This also was a kind of confusing
Yeah, episode.
I pretty much Darius and Paper Boi are going to
On an adventure.
going to participate in getting high. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get on their level. And so Iron is like, okay, I don't want to know about it. Y'all go do what y'all gonna do. And so I don't know if
Because they're in Amsterdam.
right. So I don't know if they're
legal.
doing, like you said, I don't know if they're doing ayahuasca or they're doing some mushrooms or
Some kind of hallucinatory.
some type of hallucinogen. And
Yes.
and at this point, Paper Boi meets a female. She's kind of messing with him the whole entire time. But I guess how I was looking at the look, I felt like she was kind of just giving him tough love.
Mm-hmm.
Like when it was talking about the way he was dressing, she was talking about rappers and why she didn't like them or whatever. And then she was talking about his who owned his masters and being more understanding of your money,
what's going on,
of your finances and what's going on with that. So and like at one point I remember when they were arguing, they're going back and forth. She says, "I wasn't telling you what you wanted to hear. I was telling you what you needed to hear."
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I almost feel like that she was giving tough love and that it was a representation of his mom.
Yeah, because her name is Lorraine, which is his mom's name, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So when he woke up, he was like, where's Lorraine? And Iron is like,
Your mom? Yeah.
And so I feel like in that trip that he took, that
They
was
saying that with the ayahuasca, I've heard that you see your ancestors.
right.
Stuff.
And so
that may be what it was.
I think in that trip that he took, she was a representation of his mom.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think. Y'all can comment down below and let me know how y'all felt about that episode.
Yeah.
Okay, at the New Jazz we got Rich Wigger,
Poor
Poor Wigger.
Oh gosh, this is
It's a
the one.
funny episode.
It
That was a
was.
funny episode. And rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. I was not expecting him to be part of this episode.
Yeah, me neither.
Especially after a tragedy such as him passing.
Right.
But I was like, what an awesome way. Because Atlanta's an amazing show.
Mhm.
So what an awesome way to showcase your talents.
Yeah, he actually did a good job.
Yeah,
I
he
was
did a really
kind
good
of
job.
surprised because
Mhm.
I wasn't necessarily hyped
biggest
about
fan
not
about
the biggest
it.
fan based
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
what he said about black women or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I will say it's funny though.
yeah, like
His character was still
his
funny.
character was like he did a really good job in that show. Like that said that he did because he could have parlayed that into a career. Like
Yeah.
I think he could have done that.
I will say this shined a lot of light, I think, on biracial.
I was thinking the same
Biracial
thing.
kids and the
Yes.
struggle to identify themselves
Mhm.
and who they
I
are.
agree. I agree.
I've seen that a lot growing up.
Mhm.
And so I guess I kind of never could understand it.
Mhm.
We never went through a scenario like that, but it is something to think about when, especially when you are raised up in what might be considered a predominantly white neighborhood.
Mhm.
You're receiving a predominantly white culture background at home
School.
and stuff like that. So I think that shined a lot of light on that and how that can kind of also put a wedge between you and your own community, the black community, when you don't know who you are.
Mhm.
So
Trying to find yourself.
yes, because
Yeah.
he couldn't get that.
No. He
Was
couldn't
it a
get the
scholarship?
Yeah, because he's like, we're gonna give a scholarship.
They were
to
asking all
everybody
that black culture questions.
Yeah.
They couldn't answer.
Yeah. He's like, I don't know.
That part was
That
funny.
was good. Mm.
But I think it is a question. That's what I was saying to Kenya earlier. That whole idea of what exactly blackness is, or who's black and what's not black. Like I feel like we the only culture that really have that conversation.
Mhm.
Like I feel like no one else does. I don't know, like other minorities when it comes to Asians or Hispanics, or I don't really see that. They could or whatever, but I think we are really the only generation or only race rather that really has that conversation and be like, and have arguments about, okay, this person is black, they're not really black, you know, or whatever.
And speech too, because we don't have a language. We have an adopted language.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, like Asians, Hispanics, they have their own language. Even the dialect is different from different Hispanic cultures, you know.
It's funny that you say that. So the test, so to speak, when they were giving them the test or whatever, is that our quote unquote language? Is that the things that we identify with?
And we know that we don't all agree on that. That's why we have our little game. You don't you black or whatever, the game we have at the house. Like some people will think this way, and some people just depend on what you was raised, how you was raised, and what you was exposed to.
And that, I was thinking
exposure.
that it makes me think of episode 1. Like it's, I mean, African American experiences are just different based on, you know, from a long time ago. You know,
your parents are
a lot of setbacks that African American people received that they did not ask for. So that does change the dynamic of your lifestyle and how you raise it like that.
That's true.
But in this scenario, was black kind of like what the man was saying in episode 1, just like it's social. A social thing. And then also it reminded me of the Jack Harlow little controversy right now. Because a lot of his people, I mean, not a lot of his people, a lot of his fan base are black. And he works with a lot of black artists and things like that. So, you know, I guess, you know, they hold him to that standard of like, you know, you're part of black culture, you should know about black culture.
Exactly.
But I feel like you gotta think about background. Like, I'm not thinking of like Eminem background. Eminem would be considered the redneck.
But I guess the thing to me,
he didn't know Brandy was Ray J's sister.
Right.
You know?
And because he didn't, it doesn't come off. He doesn't come off as authentic, as opposed to Eminem comes off more authentic. I think when you are ingrained in the culture and you know things, it's like it's just like even going back to school, I'm sure we always had, you know, those different people that we hung around that were white, and we'd be like, no, rest in peace to Red. You know what I'm saying? He went to our high school, and, you know, and we was like Red's black. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Because Red he was ingrained in the culture. Like he listened to black music. He was in the club.
So it's a social thing. Because he knew nothing if your buck. He knew all that stuff. Then is he invited to the barbecue?
He definitely knows.
He knows the songs.
Yeah.
I mean, in general.
Yeah.
Just like, you know.
And so when.
And if you don't know that stuff, such as this, then are you put into the social class of you're white?
Yeah, I guess that happens because I guess what I was going, because you made the point that how a lot of black people, we are different. We're not a monolith, obviously. However, I guess two things could be true at the same time. We cannot be a monolith, and we could have we can have an array of experiences.
We have similar experiences
that we all can identify with.
Absolutely.
Which is why, you know, sometimes when they ask those questions, that the questions that they were asking them about, a lot of those we're all gonna agree on a lot of those, you know, a lot of those questions. You know, we're gonna have the same thought, you know what I'm saying, on those. So it does present, you know what I'm saying, an interesting conversation about what blackness is and how, you know, how do we view it and how is it defined? Yeah. All right. So episode 10.
Vanessa.
What was the name of episode 10?
Episode 10. It's called episode 10.
Is it called episode 10?
Absolutely. That's what I looked up.
I had to remember I was watching Atlanta. I thought I was watching a game. I was like, watching a game.
You're right. It's just called episode 10.
That's why I wrote it on the.
Interesting. Okay.
So, we didn't talk about Vanessa, but the whole time, so we know Ern and Darius and Paper Boi, they're in Amsterdam because Paper Boi is supposed to perform in Amsterdam, so that's what brought them to Amsterdam.
Okay,
she kind of just fell in Amsterdam.
Before we get to Vanessa, do we want to take this opportunity to just run through everybody real quick and then go deeper into Vanessa since it was episode 10? Because I guess, so for the whole series or whatever, I guess we've got to see small things about Ern. I think Ern is pretty much being the person that we've all thought he could be.
I was going to say, Ern has showed he's evolved a lot. And I think season 1 and 2, it showed him very stressed out trying to get to this point.
To get to that point, right.
And now
kind of reminds me of Issa a little bit, like Insecure. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like they just need, like with a lot of us, we just need that, you know, that opportunity.
Yeah, I think he had the vision. and we kind of just saw the struggle of him getting
trying to get
to that vision. But Ern did his thing this season.
Yeah.
Right. And Paper Boi is he's obviously, I don't say he's made it, but he's on his way to being, you know.
Yeah, he's overseas.
He's overseas going on tour, and you know, and people recognize him. The white kids are chasing him, and saying,
the police treating him like a king. And
this season showed how strong their relationship has gotten over the entire series, because you know, I personally remember a lot of their arguments and him telling her, you're not a manager anymore, and the mistrust that they had between each other, miscommunications and stuff.
Right. I think
they were. I think that this season, like, they were always together. They even when I brought it up to you earlier, Josh, when Paper Boi kind of questioned him about having his best interest and who owns my masters, and Ern replying like of course you would have your masters. I think it showed a lot of how strong that their relationship has gotten. Along with them evolving in his career, in Paper Boi's career. So
I agree. And Darius. Darius is just
floating.
Darius has evolved, but like just in his own way. Like he's just like I'm me now.
Yes, I'm
living.
comfortable in myself.
I think it's the episode Cancer Attack. It's the cancer. To me, I guess the epitome of who Darius is. So they're trying to figure out where Paper Boi's phone is or whatever. But Darius wants to go on tour to find these rooms that are on the blueprint or that's shown on the blueprint, but you don't know exactly where they are. So that's the kind of different stuff that he wants to go to.
And he's a conspiracy theorist. He's like, you don't get that phone no way, because they listening.
I feel like even in season 1 and 2, I feel like I kind of pick up on that. But
brought it up.
They smoked a lot in season 1 and 2, and so a lot of time we just kind of saw them, like in the hood, in the house, and you see him in that environment. So to see him outside of that environment and his sense of style, and like this was definitely
makes sense.
Big.
It was
a big showcase for who Darius is.
Right. Okay, so Vanessa.
Yeah, so Vanessa fell in Amsterdam. We find out in season 10, episode 10, why she's there. Basically, she's having a mental health breakdown.
Yeah.
Like, she's been doing weird stuff the whole season, like taking stuff,
and I wondered if this breakdown was because her and Ern had just broke up.
Probably.
And Ern is now taking off, and I feel like in season 1 and 2, she's just kind of sticking around for Ern and like trying to support him. And I'm just like, maybe, she wasn't catering to herself. Is that something that we see a lot in a lot of
Another thing is that I didn't think about. She got fired, didn't she? Because remember she was one of the homegirls or whatever, she was smoking or whatever or something like that. I'm trying to remember. Y'all comment below and let me know y'all remember if she was fired or not. But I think she was smoking weed or something or whatever, and then she got pulled into the office because of it. I can't remember, but I feel like
maybe
I feel like she got fired.
Maybe. But I can see that as a part of it too, because you see Ern taking off and they're doing all this, and he's actually becoming successful. The person you were waiting for, the person you were trying to support him for, and then while his life is going great, your life is kind of just, you don't know what you're doing anymore.
Right, you don't know what's going on. Right.
Your life was to support him. And now you're not doing that anymore. It's kind of like, I got to figure out who I am now. And she has a baby, so you're living for someone else. So
she just changed her whole persona. She was like, I'm not even me anymore.
Yes, she tried to ignore that whole conversation. She was like, what are you talking about?
Right. And Josh kept on thinking she had a twin. Like, she must have a twin that said,
doppelganger.
He's like, this cannot be her.
I was so confused, bro. I was so confused because normally, because I feel like after about, after a while, she gonna break character, be like,
she kept that accent.
She kept going, and I was like,
and then I was thinking, like, well, maybe she's some years past, and now she's like ingratiated into the whole Amsterdam culture and stuff, and so now she's like picked up on the language, but no,
Well, I even got a little confused when they were alone. Like, I was like, okay, maybe they're in public, and she's just like developed this new person, and she's like, I have to keep this appearance up. But like, even when they were alone, she was still using the accent and talking as if she didn't know what she was talking about, and I was just
Right.
kind of like, what? Like, what? Like,
Yeah.
we're alone. It's just us, you know?
You can, like,
So,
come on now.
yeah.
And Candace, she was steadfast. She did not leave her side. Her friends was like, no, I just want to turn up, have a good time with her. Whatever she wanted us to do, we don't got nothing to do anyway.
I do like that she was concerned for her.
Yes.
Instead of just kind of being like,
oh,
and
girl,
then she chose this life,
tripping.
whatever.
Right.
Bye.
Right.
And I guess that friend, she
Right.
actually was on season 2, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I guess on the episode where they went to Drake's, was it Drake's house?
Yeah, they went to Drake.
Oh.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that episode.
Yeah, that was that friend. So they still have, this way they're still able to show that, you know, black women in their friendships that they still have or whatever.
Yeah. And then she knew her. Like,
Yeah.
this is somebody coming from a long time ago. So, like, they know each other.
Right. And so that's what threw me out though, because I'm like, this can't be the same person. Or whatever.
She had the wig on, probably the one she stole.
Oh
right,
my God.
That probably
Oh my
is
God.
the one that she stole.
That was the development.
Yes,
Right.
that was.
But you slowly but surely seen it, because like when she was doing stuff on I think it was the Old Man in the Tree, when she's just pushing people into the pool,
yeah.
and she's just like
she's
not
like,
really
caring
or whatever.
Yeah,
and then
she's like,
just,
what?
right, just
They're okay.
acting like she's not, not caring, but
not answering her baby daddy's phone calls.
Right,
Where is
already
the
he
child?
was
Who got
texting
the who got the kid? Both of y'all over here. Where is the child?
Right. He done text her like, take like 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and then like she just sent back the thumbs up emoji, like WTF, like
what's going on, right?
What are you doing, like? And so yeah, just like you said, she's trying to find herself because she doesn't know who she is, and I guess she feels like everybody else knows who they are or whatever. And that sometimes is an existential crisis that a lot of us go through. Like if we see, and it can be kind of effed up when you see your people going through, people getting married or people accomplishing, their businesses and doing different things, and sometimes you might be like, okay,
hey, I'm lost in the sauce. Yeah.
What am I doing? And I guess sometimes I don't know if I'm saying it right or whatever, but comparison is the thief of joy. That's not mine. I wish it was mine. I got it from somewhere. But obviously what social media does a lot of times. Look at social media, you see the people doing this, and a lot of times people be capping anyway. But nonetheless, you see people doing things, and you're like, man, this person doing that, this person doing this, that person doing that. What am I doing? I'm not, what I'm saying? I'm not
thriving.
I'm not thriving like they are or whatever. And so just for her, for them to show that, how mental health is and how, people can have these breakdowns on whatever. And some people on the outside looking in might be looking at her life and be like, why would she do this? Like, you got a child, you got the child of your father, y'all have a good relationship. On the outside looking in, people might think, why would you do that? But sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you gotta really sit down and talk with a person to really understand what they're going through.
I also think that this episode, by the end of the episode, was important about accountability. I don't think that Van was being accountable for a lot of things that she was doing, and I think her friend had to kind of force her to take accountability, especially for what she was doing to her daughter.
Yeah.
And that when she became accountable, in general, I think that you need accountability. You need to be self-aware.
Right.
Even for a bad decision doesn't make a bad person.
That's true.
Right.
And I think that it's so easy to get caught up in those bad decisions and feeling like, well, if I made that poor decision, then I'm a poor person.
Right.
And you get stuck in that. But like, it was a choice. It was a choice every day that Van was waking up, and it was just going further and further into poor choices.
Yeah.
And I think her friend bringing that up and her kind of being like having to be accountable, like, you're right, I'm making bad decisions, I don't want to make those anymore.
Right.
I want
they were
to
eating hands.
make
What in
My
the
bad.
world
I didn't mean to grab you. I'm glad you brought that up though.
What were they
And here's the
doing
thing. Let me read this real quick.
Whose hands were they?
This is the funny thing. The reaction though. That's another thing. Let me read this too. That's what I was trying to get how it fit, because the name of the episode is
Episode.
it says Tyree.
Oh yeah, I seen that Tyree. Yes,
and so it says Tyree, sometimes spelled Terroir, was a French showman and soldier noted for his unusual appetite and eating habits. So maybe that's where it comes in, the eating of the hand.
It was like hand lecture. What's going on?
That is so funny.
Well,
the reaction to me,
the
reaction to me is what was hilarious. It seems like, girl, this is a hand. This is like this is
and
a
they
whole.
got up and was like,
Right.
y'all look nasty. Y'all ain't a
Right,
hand.
but then she said, this is a whole hand. Like, if that was not the most authentic reaction.
Authentic reaction.
I legitimately was like, I
was
probably
about
would have
to
stood
throw
up and been
yes.
like, do y'all know what y'all eating in here?
Yes.
Y'all wouldn't. And then like nobody moved. Like
Right.
even who came in at the end and was like, oh, I'm
Alexander, shout
hungry.
out to
I'm hungry.
Alexander.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you what his name was. He got a brother. The brother is
I just talked about him like all day yesterday. Alexander.
What's the brother name? It's a weird last name though.
All right.
It says
His brother was It.
It, yeah.
I don't know. Skarsgård.
Skarsgård.
Yeah, Alexander Skarsgård. Shout out to him. The way he did an excellent job. And another
he was like, "Where's the hand?" He was like, he was
so hungry.
Where did your hands?
Oh my gosh, that was the craziest.
And he really played his part. The part
Yeah.
they came in and what music was he listening? He was listening to some
he
black
had a
music.
good playlist. Yeah,
His playlist was dope.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think I remember
He
like,
was
I remember
"Let's
being
all
like,
get
oh, this is
naked."
nice.
And
Like,
you know
it's
what's really
childhood
funny?
in
Like this
in
episode,
Hollywood.
I'm glad we can focus on this episode because it was really funny because the one of the homegirls, she was the down for whatever girl.
Yeah.
Like, she was funny. Like when he was like, let's all
get
let's all get
to get that
naked,
money.
let's all get naked
Yeah.
and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? And she was like,
Okay.
I'm down. And it was
Crazy.
funny. Like it didn't matter what was
we in
said.
Amsterdam, so
It didn't
I
matter.
guess.
It didn't matter what was said. Like she
He
was
was like,
down.
yeah.
She was down to do whatever. But yeah, shout out to Alexander Skarsgård. Like he really came in.
That was funny.
And
Yeah.
and what's the dude name? Mr. I have a particular set of skills.
Oh yeah,
Liam
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 Neeson.
Neeson. Yeah,
Mhm.
he made a cameo as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it. I think we covered all episodes 1 through 10.
Yep.
We went through all the different
Characters.
Isn't the man that
Oh yeah, the picture at the end.
no
Oh, no.
the episode 7 on Trinity to the Bone,
Mm-hmm.
the man who was also at the funeral and he wasn't from Trinidad but he was raised by the same.
Oh yeah, that's another.
He's-
That's Chet Hanks.
I was gonna say he's like it's a lot of controversy around him right now, and because he won't apologize.
It is, yeah. Because I think some people feel like, are you playing? Like, are you this whole similar to what Van is doing? This whole persona.
Yeah.
Like, is this really you? Because you're not Jamaican,
Right?
You know, or
Right.
Trinidadian. So what it,
I thought I saw something about it.
and I think some people feel like he shouldn't.
And he was like, I'm not gonna apologize.
Like, so I think some people feel like he shouldn't do that. Continue to use the accent and do that, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Wow.
But he was in the episode, so
Yeah.
shout out to him as well. But yeah, I think there's any other subjects that we might have missed. I think we went with.
I wonder what the connection is. You brought up the picture at the end. What that connection was at the end, where they finally tied episode 1 and episode 10 together. I kind of want to watch all the episodes like back to back now, just to see if I can catch that.
Well, I did know. I remember in which one was it? I think it might have been the Big Payback. Ern said he couldn't find his luggage.
But he said he had all of it.
Yeah.
So when they were dropping it off, he was like,
Yeah,
so
so
he
because-
finally got all his
it's
luggage,
because,
but you
right.
said they have the same name,
Yeah,
right?
they have the same name. So I think
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it did in episode 10. Like they was tying everything up, and so I know during when certain stuff happened, I was like, okay, so is this related or is this in another world or whatever? But I think it was their way of saying, no, this is all connected. This is all in the world of Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like this, all the stuff happened. Just like you said at the very beginning, that guy was talking to the black man on the boat, and so.
Do you think it'll be like the same racism we're experiencing like in America, like Atlanta?
Yeah.
Is all over. Like 'cause
Yeah.
they're all the way over in like Amsterdam.
That could be. It could be. And remember, like Ari Lennox had all the issues in Amsterdam.
Yeah,
She
I
got
remember.
arrested
And it's not just her. A lot of
So,
people
yeah,
did.
a
I
lot
think that's
of people
another thing. A lot of people be
over
going over there.
Go overseas.
Even
Period.
Brittany Griner just going through the stuff she's going through now.
Oh, yeah.
The basketball
Yeah.
player, that's going on. They still have her arrested and in jail over some stuff. So,
I mean, racism everywhere.
but yeah, so I think that overall, I think they were trying to say the racism
It needs to be handled everywhere, not
Right.
just
Not
America.
just America.
It needs to be handled
That racism is everywhere, and then also, I guess, from a story standpoint, that all of this stuff is connected. Like all of this is connected,
Yeah.
and that the guy end up committing. Yeah, I don't know if I was gonna say that word or not. YouTube be weird.
Committing.
Right, I don't even know what other word you would say. Yeah, probably blank it out.
himself.
But yeah, that's the way you say it.
Okay.
But yeah, so he ended up doing that,
Yeah.
and he ended up saying, like that's what I say, he ended up telling the guy that I couldn't get my luggage or whatever, and that's why Ern ended up doing, because they both of their names are Ernest, and they both are from Atlanta, which obviously you know from the first episode, because when he's talking to the guy and he's talking about when they built the dam at the Chattahoochee, with the Chattahoochee River is
Right,
near Atlanta or near Georgia, in that area or whatever. And so, I think overall that's what it say. All that stuff is connected or whatever, and they need to stop racism and fight it everywhere.
Yes.
All right, so if you want to go ahead and do us a favor, hit that thumbs up button. We definitely appreciate it, and it helps out the channel. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, bruh, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it, and you get to see different videos like this one.
Yes.
And if you want to go ahead and do us another favor, you want to hit that button that's shaped like a bell. You'll get a notification every time we drop a new video. All right, so if you want to do one last favor and go ahead and comment down below. We went through a whole heap of information and different breakdowns about this whole video. So what should they comment down?
What do you think about this season?
What's your favorite episode?
What's your favorite episode? Yeah.
All right, what's your favorite episode? What did you think about this season? What do you think about the underlying subjects that a lot of these episodes in the whole season was talking about?
Did you learn something?
I was gonna say, did you learn something from this?
Did you
from
learn
this
something?
season?
Yeah, did you learn something? And who's your favorite character?
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate every single one of you, and I guess we'll holler at you. Peace.